Both these teams undefeated thus far, but that ends today. And there's a fruit and a turtle that's going to be deciding this match. It's going to be exciting.
Is a lemon also? So your name is Two Fruit.
Oh, are you already like actually me?
I'm kind of a little analytical with it. Okay, I'm sorry, but you're right. This is going to be South America up against MENA, and right now the record is 2-2. This series alone will make the difference.
Yes. Falcons yesterday, I got to cast them. They're on fire. They were really aggressive. KRÜ, well, I took a cab with them, and they were quite nice. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but...
The vibes are always so good from KRÜ. I mean, you even see them on the pitch right now. Probably not the best vibes, because Ahmad's just making it look a little silly.
Yeah, Team Falcons, just like in the series I casted, their offense begins and it feels like it never ends.
Yeah.
And KRÜ, like, the vibes are immaculate, as you said. Even yesterday, they're like taking naps in their chairs during like the type timeouts, but the desks were pretty split on this match.
Yeah, and now the question is, can you maintain those vibes? You're not really going to be screaming at the enemy team if Ahmad's making you look a little dirty, but Drufinho, he's got something to say himself. This player was popping off left and right against G1. Everybody mentions him when you talk about KRÜ, and here he comes again.
Yeah, Ahmed and Okala got kind of tossed up in the corner, not sure who was supposed to follow it up. It was a good kind of side away of the ball, but how were you going to clear it? KRÜ just on top of it, ready to respond. So does Ahmed right off a kickoff, forcing that jump out of Brad. And here's Turk with the follow-up. And Team Falcons start that pressure. They slow down now. The offense coming up from KRÜ, where Brad just runs into the opposition. 3 versus 2 with KRÜ. Maybe a pass to Brad. Too much coverage from Falcons.
And this already feels like such a back and forth, Lemon, between both teams. KRÜ has had such a strong string of offensive movements down the other side. And you can also say the same for Team Falcons with their great start. Here they come again. Turk strikes, gets the second goal. We barely have time to talk about anything. These guys are just firing up.
And Brad went for boost and also went for a bump earlier on this play, so he's late on the rotation to get into the net. But Brad's been known as that third player defensively who gives up a lot of real estate, a lot of space, but he knows how to take it back. And if he's going to be that physical player, he needs to be reliable in the net.
And for Falcons, they put up 39 shots against Team Elevate. That is definitely a warm-up on the offensive side, gets you going. And they have carried that momentum into this series, and every single shot feels accurate, feels on target, with purpose behind the ball. And I'm not surprised to see that continuing forward. But KRÜ, another response. It's back and forth.
It just doesn't end. It's only been like 90 seconds. Missed touch there from Turk, so Okala steps up and Drops just has this open net. What's going on?
I mean, I'm looking at the defense a little bit of Team Falcons. Maybe they wanted to get on the offense a little too eagerly, and we're trying to catch them on a little transition. Meanwhile, it's KRÜ with so much space in the air. Drufinho gets bumped off the ball, and there's so much action in this series alone. Game one, giving us everything we want.
Falcons may be feeling the pressure, too, of just, okay, you saw Twisted Minds have a successful series against boys, and you're like, okay, MENA are flawless so far. But what can we do? And KRÜ is a tough opponent. I mean, look how they're just matching pace with them every step of the way. Now Brad steps up and fakes out Turk, slams into the post. Drufinho keeps possession. Here's Drops pushing that lane. KRÜ, like, on the same page, but now can't keep it going.
TRK has to also get this follow-up downfield, looking for Ahmad in that situation, and that's another transition where I think they were trying to get too eager. Also sending two for that save. Bit awkward play from Team Falcons as we see the first long extended bit of possession there from KRÜ.
Just trying to put it into the corner. It's a dangerous cross. I won't call it an own goal, but I just knew KRÜ felt very overwhelmed in that moment.
I like that from Turkey. Had a bit of a tester on the backboard, saw that it looked vacant, said, you know what, I'm just going to send this one on the backboard, see if anybody has a mistouch. It came right back into his hands, and it's a free goal, essentially, to get them up in the lead.
I just love the mindset that KRÜ has coming into an event like this, knowing that, well, they lack that experience, and they want to follow into in the footsteps of a team like Furia, who are so successful, that represent that region so well, and they know that composure, being calm, being confident is what's so important, even when the stakes are so high. Maybe not so high in the Swiss stage, but KRÜ, you can tell that they're relaxed. Even when Falcons take a lead, they know how to respond.
Well, and what better experience could you get than being up against Team Falcons, who also competed at the last World Championship. They didn't make it to the playoffs. They got knocked out by FaZe, but definitely a favorite in that tournament to go the distance. And here we are, Mina up against Sam. KRÜ, they've got another great bit of possession, but you fear for the counterattacks that Team Falcons are looking for.
Yeah, KRÜ have some good setups, but Falcons have just built this wall. Here's the counterattack, though. Trifino will defend that back wall well, as Falcons just want to keep this momentum play going. The 50, the challenge at the midfield favors KRÜ, as you see Team Falcons struggle to protect what was just inevitable.
And this stemmed all from this speed. Look at Trifino on this bounce. Ahmad was pre-flipped already, so he couldn't turn. He's trying to get on the backboard, but with the speed of that pass, there's nobody who can catch up to it. And we have gotten 6 goals in game 1. Granted, both these teams let in the least amount of goals and shots from their region. It's ridiculous to see such a shootout already at game 1, and it's not stopping, Lemon.
You were just talking about how much the scoring was happening. Falcons just keep stealing this lead back, but KRÜ knows how to pick up the phone. I like that Dropsino had the dive, but the placement of Falcons there to the left side and down low when you saw the dive come in. Now you got 90 seconds for KRÜ. Will this lead ever get past 1? And I know that the key is to stay calm here, but it's hard to when it's this close.
Well, it's going to be difficult for KRÜ too, because they've been consistently chasing Team Falcons, but can never catch up for longer than what feels like 20 seconds. And right now they might have to catch up even more if Team Falcons can get the security goal. KRÜ attempting to get this clear out. Another one is going to trickle in. TRK extends the lead, and we get the longest break here between the opposition scoring.
Maybe a bit of mix-up between Brad and Trifino there, where Trifino is having this quiet series. It's my first time casting him, which it's an honor, but talking about this South American MVP who's been on this defense and letting that one go by. Obviously a miscomm between his teammate, but that leaves that open shot from Falcons, who will execute that every single time. Now a minute, definitely possible by KRÜ. How they connect on these passes though, drops his teammate, gets demoed, and that ball is gone.
Not sure how possible it is if Turk is going to be taking you out. That was that third man falling back and just deletes you off the pitch. Make it a 3-goal lead. Turk cannot be stopped.
Really can't. First it's Ahmed and Turk working together, but the placement here is what I love about Team Falcons. KRÜ seem to be in a position with the pre-jumps to try, keyword try, but not actually save it.
And every shot from Falcons, Lemon, just feels so quality. And okay, very interesting kickoff. Let's just have nobody go for it and leave it for KRÜ, who wanted to put one away, maybe one for the road. But this game looks like it's basically over with Team Falcons. It was back and forth in the first half, but as this game went on, Falcons started to shift it into a different gear that KRÜ could not catch up to. Unless? Dot. Listen, I don't believe. We saw a crazy game where, what was it, Moist came back to tie things up 4-4. They got 4 goals in a row, but I just don't see it happening, Lemon. It's not. There's no way, right?
Just keep putting the curse in. I put my own curse, because I had predicted Twisted Minds, and they started going up in the series. Don't put me on this desk either. I think the Falcons' pressure is so overwhelming, though. I don't think it's mistakes that KRÜ are known for. It's uncharacteristic, but it's ones that are forced out of them, like team bumps, or trying to dodge these team bumps, which Falcons take advantage of these opportunities. Few more seconds left, and that's all she wrote for Team Falcons, closing it out 10 goals later.
And what a game that was for Team Falcons to not only hold on to the lead that consistently, but to battle back even when KRÜ were showing signs of life. They kept bringing it to them, always looking to get a good counterattack in. Even through all of that pressure, thick and thin, it was Falcons winning and taking game number 1. Let's see if KRÜ now have what it takes to respond. Game 2 should hopefully be a good response if they've been able to download what Team Falcons want to do, opting to go for that counterattack. Maybe the defense is a little bit more patient as that third man for KRÜ.
And 90% of demos coming out of KRÜ just to try and destructure the Falcons system, which obviously that hasn't affected them. They were scoring back and forth up until a lot more mistakes were being shown by KRÜ at the end.
And that is actually ridiculous. 7 demos for KRÜ compared to Falcons 1. And Falcons also consistently never demo in a series. They're so low on demos per game. I think it's 3 demos per game for the season for Falcons. Meanwhile, Trifino, he averaged 3 demos for himself against G1. And even the physical gameplay, Lemon, is not enough to break through and hold a lead.
I think Falcons have just been winning those challenge games too. Like, one of their goals came from just dominating the midfield, moving forward, and the rotation is not quick enough from KRÜ to kind of cover up those gaps when Falcons find them. So that was just game one, y'all. This has been an exciting day two after how many 4-0s we had in day one. Falcons will get first blood in our series. See how KRÜ respond. Now in this kickoff, it's already immediate possession for Brad. He's at the front of this rotation, the one who makes plays and finds the success for KRÜ.
Here we go, drops. Back on defense. Let's see if KRÜ can find the first lead, but of course, it's gonna be O'Khaled keeping that streak alive with the Falcons on top.
O'Khaled absolutely peaked when I casted him when he faced Elevate.
Yeah.
Elevate were permanently on defense because of this guy. And I even made the joke of, he's not okay, he's O'Khaled. The other team's the one who's not okay. And Team Falcons, though, they went up with a lead, you know, at the start of the last game, but KRÜ never let this get away from them. They play with such confidence and composure. Second touch from Drufinho off the back wall. Turk has a great read on it.
I definitely find it interesting that I mentioned how little the physical game is for Team Falcons, but the first goal they get is going to be a physical bump play from Ahmad, trying to take out the goalkeeper. I do believe he found some contact to open up the space for O'Khaled. These guys can just do it all. KRÜ certainly have their hands full trying to deal with them.
I know MENA fans were a little shaky on Falcons, who were sitting comfortably on that throne for so long. And you have the new blood, the fresh blood of Twisted Minds, the grinders, the ones who work so hard, that want it so bad. Then Team Falcons bring in this new coach to fix these inconsistencies. And look how that's worked out. They're flawless so far. They're up in the series. And they look aggressive. They look good.
And it looks like missing out on the spring major was one of the best things that could have happened to this team. Reignited the hunger for these three players to come out into Wildcard and put on a show for everybody watching at home. But of course, this series is not over yet. We've been singing the praises of Team Falcons because that's mostly what we've seen as they look to get the second goal. But KRÜ, there is a lot of firepower on that team.
Drufinho, good challenge. Brad just sticks into the net, and KRÜ are starting to layer that defense more. So if someone gets a mistouch, if someone loses that challenge, you've got backup, you got trust, you got drops in front of the net, it crosses. Drufinho too late to strike through that net. KRÜ, looks like they've started to abandon the play, but then drop steps up. You almost had that touch right in the infield by KRÜ. Brad takes his time with it, down low, Drufinho and Ahmed collide. And Falcons are just barely surviving this relentless offense, it seemed.
And on top of playing all this defense, they come out with spectacular transitions. This is what they did so well, the bread and butter for Falcons. Letting KRÜ take the bait, push forward, extend to their own half, and then that third man gets caught in no man's land. That's what Team Falcons want, to extend this lead. But it's not gonna happen so long as KRÜ keep finding ways to put a couple of chances on. I think eventually, after knocking so many times, they will find an answer.
I like that KRÜ are being more eager on these challenges in this blue half, and it creates more opportunities for them. But still haven't found a goal, despite us casting, what, 10-goal game one, and O'Khaled slam dunked. And KRÜ, they gotta watch out for these fast counterattacks.
Yeah, everything started in the half of Team Falcons, and it comes down to getting past that first player in the midfield. If you can win that challenge, which Ahmed just did, you're gonna set up an even better shot. I don't think KRÜ expect the speed, expect the mechanics from Team Falcons. And my, oh my, is this gonna be a lesson to take note of? KRÜ are getting demolished in game two.
Now there isn't someone else to blame on this one. Drufinho wasn't running into Brad this time.
Why you gotta call him out like that, Lemon?
My bad. You know what? My bad. It's my first time on eStream.
You were just praising Drufinho, and you come out here first time
it's
on the
the compliment sandwich. You know, you got to put the toppings. You got to put the meat in the middle.
That's right.
So, Drufinho, I've said it's been an honor to cast him as an MVP, and hey, I'm just trying to reverse bless here. KRÜ still nothing. After 10 goals in game one, Falcons just need to be slowed down. If KRÜ can find out how to challenge the midfield to slow the pain train down, maybe that can help.
It just comes down to the third man right now, where KRÜ are finding a possession, and they feel comfortable, and they get baited in. That third man pushes too far forward, and Team Falcons say thank you very, very much. This might be one of the easiest counterattacks I'll ever have, because he keeps extending forward, and even if we're not counterattacking, we're just gonna put on an onslaught of shots.
It's kind of back-to-back goals coming from that left corner. KRÜ are just missing either protecting that left wall or to find the early challenge and hesitating in between. And even Jorby said that the last time we saw KRÜ at an event, they hesitated.
Yeah.
How to set up the play. And that lack of confidence is what costed them games.
And it feels like every touch is so influential from KRÜ with the positioning of Team Falcons, always ready to punish, always ready to put away a shot or even put a shot on target. If you make one mistake on the KRÜ side, it'll cost you. And those nerves, excuse me, are going to create a lot of mistakes. So far, it has 4-0 Team Falcons, even more confident in game 2.
And KRÜ is trying to dunk on them, and Team Falcons, they just know that's coming. They block it well. KRÜ moving downfield. This back wall well protected also by Ocala, but Drops is always left, trying to push Falcons, trying to take that space. It's a demo that relieves that pressure. Falcons still don't have the ball as Brad almost has great placement.
There it is.
To the upper 90, gives KRÜ some signs of life.
And it looks like they've finally woken up from their deep slumber. They've been hibernating all game long, but Drops comes through with a top right slot. That might be just what they needed to get things going. Too little, too late, 35 on the clock, but at least building something early, Lemon, is vital.
Just what a flip around, and this is where you have a timeout and you may want to consider.
Yeah.
We changed a lot from game 1 to completely slowing down, not knowing how to slow down the other team, which is critical. You got to use this timeout, I think, to just assess where can we meet in the middle, that sweet spot between game 1, making less of those mistakes, to actually taking risks in game 2 and going for more. Now a couple more seconds left and a chance for Drops and Brad to set up a second one, but denied right at the goal line by Falcons, who go 2-0 in the series.
That's going to do it. What a performance from Falcons at the beginning of this series. I expected a little bit more out of KRÜ, but right now they are starstruck, don't know how to regroup and get themselves organized. Yes, they did get a single goal, finally ending the drought in that game, but certainly wasn't enough. Because right now, it doesn't feel like you can get through Falcons. Even the demos, the aggression, I truly think it comes down to sorting out your defense first, stopping the bleeding with all of these counterattacks that you're giving to Falcons, and then you can move on from there. And we do actually get a timeout. They don't want to let Falcons get the match point before taking that extra 60-second break.
Yo, I'm the coach, stop being.
Okay.
I gotta run over there.
Okay.
It's actually on like another floor, so I would be gone a while. But I think this is an important timeout for KRÜ. Just to mentally bounce back and figure out where is, like I said, where is that sweet spot where KRÜ, I think the adjustments that I noticed was in game 1, they were a little stacked on top of each other, trying to avoid bumping into each other, which led to opportunities for Falcons to capitalize. Then game 2, you don't have that. We almost put too much stress on that person who maybe whiffs the play or doesn't win the challenge, and then you don't have that same amount of backup. I think KRÜ did save a lot, but not enough, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, with how one-sided their game plan has been so far, I think the smart option right now during this timeout with this extra break is to calm down a little bit. Third man getting too jumpy for KRÜ. Second can sometimes be aggressive as well. And at this point, you have to just send in maybe a solo play, try and break down the Team Falcons defense and stop letting them counterattack so quickly. But on the other side for Team Falcons, it's all smiles. Everything going according to plan. And it doesn't feel like there's any gaps or holes that KRÜ can even exploit. It just comes down to them creating chances and generating opportunities because there's nothing to punish, Lemon.
I feel like the Falcons' name is kind of accurate to the bird. I wanted to call them vultures because they just kind of wait for the corpses.
I know nothing about falcons. Like, I don't know.
So turtles, though. You got turtle facts?
No, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about animals either. I don't know why I named myself Turtle, but I don't even know what falcons primarily do. I just know that they're a bird.
They fly and stuff.
That's all I know. And I guess if you're a Falcon, you're pretty good at Rocket League because these guys have been on a tear in the first 2 games. And still, I really thought that the demos were going to plague Falcons, and I didn't think that they'd be able to recover, but even with the one-sided demo game where KRÜ are taking them off the pitch, it's not enough to rattle Team Falcons.
Falcons, they patrol, they wait for that opportunity to strike, just like in the name, and they wait for these mistakes out of KRÜ.
So you do know about Falcons, so there it is.
They eat other animals, I think.
There it is.
Maybe fish. I'll use Google one day. 2-0 in this series, I mean, Falcons don't have to research any solution to this.
Oh, no. I might have to research the Falcons, but right now, I mean, KRÜ are getting eaten alive on those counterattacks. They've had good forms of possession. That's a little bit awkward from Jorfinho, but at least the possession is here. And they've got all the building blocks to get back into this game.
Turk versus Jorfinho, shot above, he couldn't save it. And 1-0 Falcons.
And where did this start? In the half of Team Falcons, winning a 50-50. Khaled pinches it out to Turk, who gets the demo, and then through the ashes, through the flames, comes out with the flick.
Right below the cross, too. They've been able to just sneak these past Jorfinho, and this is not the first time. Defensively, KRÜ, I mean, you have your backs against the wall, and you just got to be able to react to time, and that's difficult to do. You got to stop Falcons before they generate that momentum. Khaled to Ahmed, and drops, at least tries to intercept that. KRÜ going to different sides of the field to get this away. Great second touch, makes space, drops is there to receive, but off the back wall, it's an awkward bounce. KRÜ move forward. Here's Brad patrolling and also getting the demo, steals the corner boost, and he got Falcons hesitating, stuck a bit, but KRÜ missed that opportunity to do anything.
Yeah, look at the recovery from Falcons. Like I said, they get demoed, they get taken out. Here's another instance. Jorfinho takes out one player, but the shot is just off target. That was the one chance, one opportunity for him to get one for KRÜ and bounce back in the same fashion you did in game one, where it was back and forth, but unfortunately just can't come up clutch.
That still gave me hope, though.
You got hope? Okay.
That gave me hope for KRÜ. That looked like the start of a really threatening
What about that double
offense.
commit? Does that double commit give you any hope?
I don't know.
A little bit scared.
I don't know, I just work here, so.
No, but you're right. I mean, you're seeing KRÜ have all this possession, stay on the offensive side, and when it comes up with an opportunity, nobody's there to finish. And that one also looked like it could have been a chance for Jorfinho, who's just slightly off his mark.
Now it's just about accuracy. And since we're talking about facts, well, that was almost the upper 90. Speaking about facts, KRÜ in French is like the past tense of believed. So now I could say that. Okay. Believed.
You believed.
I believe.
You believe?
At some point.
Okay, at some point, KRÜ can end this drought. That's the hopium right now. And there's been good looks. Brad, this could be the best look yet. Flip reset fake, trying to mind game under one player. But Turk, so slow on this approach. Nothing can make Team Falcons panic at this moment, whether it's a demo, whether it's a double tap off the post. Team Falcons remaining calm.
KRÜ are going for these difficult shots through the right, finding these angles, but not able to put it on target, but just by an inch. Jorfinho just trying to bulldoze it in, and drops. Can't make the most out of that opportunity. Falcons are so centered in front of their net that KRÜ are forced to go through the corners, and that is still being denied. Falcons have had to put up a lot of stops for this to only be a 1-0 game.
I mean, look at that cycle off the backboard. What a clear from Falcons. The mechanics are polished as ever from these three players. And here they go off the corner. Good speed there from KRÜ to at least battle back and get this one in the opposition's half. But with quick passes like this, I'm not sure how long it's gonna last. Turk recovers well off the post. It's out of here, and KRÜ stay within one.
I can't believe they saved that. I was worried about the recovery of KRÜ there, but all stacked at the goal line. Falcons, though, they're not done yet. Brad waits for his moment to pop it up, follow it through the corner. Counterattack for KRÜ. Maybe can outspeed the Falcons, but they soar and bring that ball right back. KRÜ just can't keep up the pressure.
But this is only a 1-goal lead. As I say that, it might just be a 2-goal lead. Ahmed, off the fake in the air, has the ground game covered.
Turk is just that spark plug to Team Falcons, and the beautiful setup. Ahmed,
look at
the placement too, yeah.
The ball didn't even bounce off the ground. This man just glued it to the bottom of the floorboards and let it slip in. Looks like he's bowling out there, and that's gonna get the security.
Falcons are getting a lot luckier too with these tight kind of areas that they're trying to put the ball into, and KRÜ, they're attempting to do the same thing from the sides of the net, but hasn't been on target yet. 1 minute. It's not out of reach for KRÜ, but if the series goes 3-0 and you used up your timeout, you gotta hope that your mental can just bounce back in game 4. Now KRÜ start their offense going down, but again, they send it downfield, but there's no one there to pick up the ball, to set up a play, and maybe that's where you look where Brad was known for that for KRÜ.
This is scary because the Falcons look hungry in this series. You know, we saw them previously against Elevate. It was a very clean 4-0, but that's not enough. to paint the whole picture of what we'd see from Team Falcons. I think this series is going to give us a lot of data moving forward about where this roster stands, where they sit mechanically as a team, how they've recovered from not making the previous major. And at this moment in time, they are looking at a 4-0 sweep potentially, as we will move on to match point in game number 4.
I'll correct myself. It's Drops that's known for setting up those plays for KRÜ, and with 160 score, it's also forgettable on the field, and he needs to come alive when KRÜ need it the most, because they're on the brink of defeat. Falcons with 2 back-to-back well, it's 4-1, but it felt like a shutout because that last goal came at the end. But 2-0 for Falcons in game 3.
And I really think that this is the game we're going to look back to in this series if Falcons end up taking the sweep, where KRÜ could have made some waves, could have put one up on the board, because there was 2 specific shots, one after a demo, one off the backboard on the left side, if we remember correctly, as we do look at the Mobile One high performance replay, that KRÜ could have capitalized, could have scored. I can't say the same about the previous game. In game number 2, it looked like it was all Team Falcons, but this one was absolutely possible for KRÜ to get 1-2 goals to stay in contention at winning this one.
The accuracy felt really good for Falcons, the placement too, where you had someone, KRÜ didn't have this open net like maybe some other opportunities happened in other games. They were definitely present, but the placement of Falcons is what made it so difficult. Yes, they're not scoring 6 goals like they did in game 1, but you only need that 1 goal advantage to win, and Falcons hold their own.
And they have been shape-shifting into different play styles. If Falcons need to play defensively, they will. If they have to focus on just holding a bit of possession on the offensive side, and that's the strategy that needs to be incorporated, they can also do that. These guys, every strategy, every sword has been sharpened for Team Falcons. And it all comes down to this game. Match point. KRÜ Esports looking at a sweep against them. If they drop this one, they're gonna have to move on to 1-1, but a good start in game 4 might give them a sign of life.
Good stops from Falcons too, even that team pinch off the cross. Like, I'm surprised they were able to recover and KRÜ couldn't jump on that. It came out swinging. KRÜ will always believe, even on the brink of this defeat, where I guess we haven't had a reverse sweep in a best 7 on LAN or some stat like that, but KRÜ are the ones who can make it happen. But Falcons, obviously representing their region, they want this so bad. People have been doubting them, and they want to shut those haters up. They want to make Mina proud and make them go flawless in day 2.
Well, for a little bit, the spotlight has been taken by Rule 1. We're sitting comfortably right now watching this series, I bet. And Falcons want that spotlight back. It could all start with this sweep to get them back on the radar. I know the desk was split, but this has not been a 50-50 game. Khaled looking to get a good start again.
Mina is just this unpredictable region that fight and work so hard. That's why nobody picked them in the draft, and now you're starting to realize why. Falcons was the last pick, and they decimated Elevate. I casted it. I saw it live. R-rated.
Well, and even, you know, if we think about the good old minds from Mina, I think KCP did draft them and then got destroyed by them. So you have all these expectations, right, for them to come through. And you're right, Falcons, this is the last team that I want to pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to pick Falcons too. You knew they were hungry for revenge too. Oh, Brad. Everyone from Falcons jumping up for that ball.
How does Drops continue to pull off these fakes on the backboard? What are you going to do if your Team Falcons? You see Drops up in the air, you expect him to hit that shot. And even the frustration, I'm looking at the face cams right now of KRÜ. They get the first goal in quite some time. It doesn't look that happy. It doesn't look that positive. Where did the vibes go?
I don't know. Not impressed with yourself? I'm impressed. Well, maybe they know that it's Falcons that let that goal happen more than KRÜ made it happen. But what I liked is that improvement of KRÜ to be on top of that rebound quicker than Falcons, who, yeah, they were all committed in the net. So that's the first time we've seen Falcons be flustered. Where KRÜ already off the first kickoff, the first second of this game, came out with confidence.
Khaled get Meki on the field, and that's a better save. That position right there from the third man, this defense from KRÜ, it looks like it's been stepped up. We're having better saves, deeper positions from that third man where he's hanging back more in his own net, expecting something better out of Falcons. Maybe the respect just wasn't there at the beginning of this series.
Yeah, Falcons can't relax at all. Was the first time we've seen KRÜ have a lead in a hot second, especially just bouncing back after the shutout in game 3. Here's Brad just tipping it back, but it's awkward for him to go back to that ball, and Drops just knows he can't win the challenge, gives up a bit of space, and Falcons will eat it all up. Now how do they kind of set up this ball from the corner? Turk's just trying to slam it in, and KRÜ hold on.
That's still another good sign to see KRÜ manage this pressure from Team Falcons. Understanding that they can't waste a lot of boost. They've got to be cautious, hang on the backboard, have somebody in net almost at all times, because every single angle seems possible from Falcons at this moment, as it does bounce off the corner and into the midfield it goes.
KRÜ, how do you clear this out? Again, a bit of a mix-up of 2 members of KRÜ going for that ball, and you need to just spread out so you have a chance of not only clearing it, but following up and creating a play out of it. Oh, Colin, just right in front of the net like that. KRÜ are drowning. How do they get up? How do they put their heads above water?
Well, we got that clean read from Ocala, but with no power. And we've got an interesting series here where it feels like the team with what I'd say the most possession, the most offense, ends up at a disadvantage just because of those counterattacks. KRÜ have had so many forms of possession in the first 3 games, but kept getting counterattacked, and now this is the same situation, but reverse. Falcons have held all this pressure, all this possession, but they are the ones who cannot break through.
See KRÜ trying to match that aggression, and Falcons haven't given up yet, and yeah, that demo just to set them back, so now KRÜ move up. But stopped again, the ball robbed from them. Falcons are winning these challenges and looking for that tying goal with 45 seconds left. This could be KRÜ clawing their way back in the series. Falcons, these 50s are just stalling out. They're being finally slowed down. The key that KRÜ needed to do in game 3. KRÜ have done it. Yeah,
and it's this slower approach, this slower pace that seems to be more fitting against Team Falcons, who can't get a quality shot on. I mean, that's even Ahmad in the midfield, flipping backwards, not understanding who's going for the ball. How do they break through the armor? It just seems impossible at this moment. And we've got what feels like the first game where KRÜ have figured things out, put the final puzzle piece together, and have been able to form against Team Falcons, so long as this ball does hit the ground.
1-0 for KRÜ. Just need to land this on the ground, and they stay alive. And you got that B-Stream update of G1 versus Elevate, which I thought was, I kind of giggled and kicked my feet a bit, because it's the teams that got decimated by Falcons and KRÜ facing off in the sandbox. Yeah. So, it's big boy stream, and Falcons, I don't think you're worried. We'll see if they use a timeout, but it's 1-0. I don't think it was bad.
There's no way. I think if KRÜ start heating up and they win the next game, that's when I would definitely use a timeout. You don't want to get them into game 7 and try and cool them off, because at that point there is just no stopping that fire and putting it out. And look at the saves. I mean, still great defense, only letting in 1 goal, but it felt like there was more pressure from Falcons. And like I talked about earlier, this is one of those series where the team that actually holds all that pressure seems to be at the disadvantage, because KRÜ were finding the perfect rotations on that defensive side that would counter, that would find a shot against Team Falcons. There was no creativity, no surprising shots or mechanics out of Falcons that threw KRÜ off, and they were able to coast with that 1-goal lead.
And you talked about how good Falcons' recovery was throughout this series, and the 1 goal that KRÜ got was the one time we didn't see Falcons recover so flawlessly when they all jumped kind of triple commit-ish in the net, didn't have that person to actually move forward and get the clear. That's the moment where KRÜ scored, found that one little mistake that Falcons did, but that's what defined game 4.
Here we go. It's going to be a long journey, a long road ahead for KRÜ Esports if they want to get this best of 7 reverse sweep in the wild card. They've still got a lot to prove in this series, but they've started out on the right foot.
Turk and Ahmed already connecting to the back wall. Second touch at least is blocked there by Brad as Jorfinho takes his time with the ball, and that's where Falcons, they don't let KRÜ breathe. And Falcons know they got to get back in that driver's seat. You can't get complacent, you can't relax. Falcons with another offense, Jorfinho dives in time.
And look at how deep Jorfinho was on that position, stuck in his own corner, anticipating that first player getting beat in the midfield, and he's the one who can come out with the clear. This passive, more defensive approach from KRÜ has absolutely come out on top. And that's how they've built momentum. about to see them get a little string on offense, but of course, as soon as I say that, it gets cleared into the other side.
KRÜ trying to be also more valuable with their physicality. I saw like Brad trying to bump people out of the net and set each other up and put a lot more trust in each other. But then the shot never came in. But I like the attempts because we saw kind of thus far in the series, KRÜ have been dominating in terms of demos, like 90% of them in game 1 is what I remember, and didn't end up winning. So if KRÜ can make the space and execute, that's where we can see KRÜ come out on top.
Yeah, and it might come down to picking your battles wiser for KRÜ. When do you go for the demos? When do you get the physical play? Ahmad, he might go for a physical play himself. He looked to take out the aerial from Drufinho, but doesn't even get a piece of him. And we're stuck in this corner as Team Falcons have to get themselves out of it. A tough shot on target, or slightly wide rather. And KRÜ just putting on a couple of shots.
KRÜ have started that threat, right? But it was accuracy, it was putting the shots on target that KRÜ struggled with, at least in game 3.
Here we go, 1v1.
Trying for these difficult ones, drops, wins, and Ahmed races back. And that's all KRÜ have to do, I guess, is win challenges or at least be able to predict them well enough to get past.
And it's a battle of counterattacks. Who's got the better one? Both teams now have started to play defensively, and Drops recognizes, okay, I've got a 1v1 situation. I was able to outpace the first man and get myself in the best approach that I could have against that opposition's goal. Team Falcons, unfortunately, that third man doesn't have a piece of the ball. KRÜ have got that 1-goal lead. And if it's anything like last game, all they have to do is run this clock down, Lemon.
KRÜ going for challenges right off a kickoff, just waiting for that perfect opportunity. And KRÜ, yes, they get it into the blue end, but then what? They like to really dominate those corners, those sides, and cut these difficult angles. It's been difficult. Now if they can rely on winning the midfield challenges, that could be the key to success, because Falcons defense is tough when they're all stacked together. So maybe you got to draw out the Falcon, see if you can strike gold, but KRÜ for now have that lead, so they don't have to stress too much.
Look at that slowed play from Drufinho. He didn't really have a lot of boost, so instead of banging it to the other side, he keeps it to himself. Brad also, with a first touch to himself, can get the follow-up. It's a better challenge, and it's forced into a corner where Ahmad just has to go for a solo play. And this is another situation where the defense is getting tested from KRÜ. If this was the beginning of the series, they would have been scored on, but they have cleaned things up.
Yeah. This is the exact scoreline that game 4 ended. Never mind.
It's changed.
It's gone.
The caster curse has come out.
The Falcons got shot out last game, and it kind of hit their heads against the wall. There's been multiple offenses from Falcons that have been shut down.
And this is what you brought out, Lemon. The slower recovery from Team Falcons. You mentioned it before. They were very sluggish to get back to their own half to find that rotation because they're too focused on staying on offense, wasting all their boost, overextending, getting eager. And that's the same thing that happened to KRÜ at the beginning of the series. It's like they adapted and took the same approach and said, you know what, I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine and hit you with the counterattack.
It's kind of what happened against Elevate, right? When Falcons didn't have to play defense because they were literally on offense the entire time, keeping Elevate trapped. It was a tough one to cast. But now Falcons are getting tested as KRÜ ramp up. Use that timeout to really think about their approach. And even Falcons getting demoed, slowing them down has been the key there for KRÜ, as you said. Brad slightly bumped off the ball, and KRÜ will lose possession. They got to head back.
This could be it. Ahmad, of course, is going to get blocked out. Good pre-jump save from Drufinho. It looks like there was a chance, but even that wasn't enough for the Falcons to end their own drought as they remain scoreless. They've got, let's see here, 6 shots now, 0 to their name.
That's tough. There was some good passing plays from Falcons too, and KRÜ somehow looking from left to right, going cross-eyed, and somehow still able to block it. But you see all of Falcons going for bumps, a great save by KRÜ. Counterattack? I'm looking, my eyes are open, I don't see one. Oh, there's drops. Missed the demo though.
I mean, even if you're not getting the counterattack, as long as you can just waste some time, get the block like this from drops, it's all flowing in unison from KRÜ. 2-0 in game 5, and the reverse sweep seems to be that much more possible, that much more probable from this team. And I gotta wonder, do we get a timeout from Team Falcons? Do they try and cool off KRÜ Esports, who have found some momentum?
Yeah, KRÜ aren't panicking on that defense. They're not sitting at the goal line hoping for the best. They're taking charge and they're reading the play, calming down, which is I think what that whole timeout must have been about.
Oh my.
That's 3-0 for KRÜ in Game 5 as this series goes on.
And this is just a victory lap. I think this is also a pre-jump shot. It is from Drops. I think he might have gotten bumped too, potentially if he didn't pre-jump. And that is just the icing on top of the cake for KRÜ Esports, as they are within 2 of conquering Team Falcons and securing a reverse sweep. I haven't heard a call yet about a timeout. I don't think Team Falcons are going to take it. I guess they know exactly what they need to do, what they need to implement, and don't want to waste any time getting into the next game.
Yeah, I can see the coach being like, you guys want something? Want a snack? Juice box? Be like, no, we just want to stop sucking. We just want to stop sucking
maybe
at the
it's
game.
a car change. Oh, there
came
it
in
is.
late.
There it is.
You do need a juice box after all.
It came in a little bit late. Get the juice box out. What other snack would be perfect here for a timeout? I mean, honestly, you just gotta chug a bunch of water, take a stretch, take a break. And this is an extra 60 seconds for Falcons to figure things out, regroup. And are we just gonna see a much more passive approach now from both teams? That's what KRÜ implemented. They slowed it down. Falcons are like, okay, now we have all the offense. We're controlling the pace, but it's not working. It's been a frustrating game, I'm sure, for both sides.
And Falcons are out shooting them like 8-4, doubling the shots, not getting any goals, which is kind of a weird trend right now that whichever team goes up in a lead shuts out the other team. It's been 3 games in a row.
Well, and it's weird too because, you know, they've been on offense longer. They've had the most shots in that last game, but the possession was relatively even, 51% in favor of KRÜ, which just proves that even when they're on defense, they're able to control the ball. Just because that ball does cross the halfway line, the midfield line, doesn't necessarily mean that KRÜ don't have control of what's happening on the pitch. They can stay calm, keep it to themselves on the defense, and hope to launch and catapult themselves forward with a counterattack. And it has turned into a chess match on the field, not just about outpacing your opponent, but outsmarting them with this timeout. Falcons have to figure it.
KRÜ listening to their coach, which has been, okay, we're winning, do that more. Do that one more time.
You should be a coach. That's great advice.
2 more times.
That's great advice.
Yeah, I'm like a Fiverr coach. Just keep winning. Keep doing what you're doing.
Just keep going in.
You're doing amazing, sweetie. Let me get the camera.
And I mean, that's really all it comes down to at this moment, because this timeout is the attempt to release some steam from KRÜ. And what do you do in these 60 seconds? You can't get in the game. You can't play. Maybe the mechs get a little bit rusty, but the most important thing is going to be the first goal after you take a timeout. If KRÜ can come out swinging against Falcons, who are trying to extinguish them, that would be one heck of a statement.
I think this is Falcons feeling like they didn't have to change a thing thus far. And that timeout was clearly, okay, what do we do different? Because now it's been 2 games in a row.
Is that what I wanted?
The crowd
Oh my.
pitched. Oh my God. KRÜ looking deadlier by the second. Right off a kickoff too. And you're not even out of the woods yet if you're Falcons. You just have people stopping you at every second of the way. Turk gets past 1 or 2 as Ahmed keeps the ball rolling for Falcons, but it's getting overwhelmed. Need Falcons to support each other. There is Turk, down low, Brad reads the bounce, but at the wall, Drops, gets it to the corner.
It wasn't the most accurate shot from Turk. While it was on target, it was dead center, which makes it that much easier for KRÜ Esports to get the save. If you think back to the first 2 games, Team Falcons were spot on with hitting the corners. It has diminished slightly in game number 6, but again, it comes down to who can score first, who can set the pace after the extended break.
There's passing plays again by Falcons. You see KRÜ using those demos and finding more value to slow down Falcons, just to destructure them. And when you're in a series where you were up 3-0 and now you're like, oh, are the brooms still in the closet? Or Falcons, you don't want to panic. You do want to change up why you're losing, obviously. But you know what you're good at, and Ahmed just going to give that up to Brad, and Jerfinho to the corner. Just waits for the play.
And whenever you're in this situation for Team Falcons, I think once KRÜ win their first game in this best of 7 reverse sweep attempt, Falcons are like, you know what, no, we still got this. There's no way they get this reverse sweep, right? But you get into game 6, and then the thoughts start to creep in. And it's almost over if you get to game 7, because all the momentum would be for KRÜ, but Ahmed striking first after the timeout. Turk, what a pass back to him.
And breaking that dry streak for Falcons, like 2 games in a row where they get shut out, and you have this timeout. You have to lose a lot of creativity, or at least kind of manipulate the bounces and see if you can juke KRÜ the way you did in the first 3 games, where either you had multiple members of KRÜ try to jump through it, you had more coverage in the net, to just having these one-on-ones that Falcons were known to win at the start of the series. To here's maybe the response of KRÜ trying to cross in front of the net, but too many cooks in that kitchen.
We also saw a double commit from Team Falcons, so still not completely organized and structured on the defense, but they have gotten the first goal. Nice touch to the midfield. Ahmad had it read. Better 50-50 as well for Team Falcons as Trufino gets bumped out the way. Now it's 3 in the middle trying to put a shot on target, and eventually it does come out.
Yeah, you're not feeling great if you're a KRÜ fan when you see 3 blue guys in the orange net just high-fiving each other, doing the football celebration. 2-0 for Falcons, who come in swinging. Can they hit the home run and finish off this series the way they intended it, more decisively? But KRÜ, they're not dead yet. Still the first half.
Team Falcons were tripping up a little bit in the last game. However, with that bump play from Team Falcons that we just saw to get that second goal, this looks much more comfortable for them. Half the game to go. KRÜ Esports facing their potential first loss unless Drops with a solo play can make a dent.
That was cute. Either dodging the bump, going for a ground pinch. I like that. But Falcons, one step ahead of them as KRÜ slowing down the ball, bringing it to the opposite side. But Falcons, they have good spread. One on the left, one on the right, but stopped again right when KRÜ have their backs against the wall. But the counterattacks turned on their heads as Falcons, Ahmad just getting the bounce, not the ground pinch, but not the threat that Falcons were hoping to generate.
Oh, this could be an opportunity at a counterattack is given right to the hands of Team Falcons. Not sure where the possession was going out of KRÜ. They do save themselves from a third goal from Falcons, but where is the connection? Talked about the possession last game, how even when KRÜ were on defense, they were keeping it within themselves, going for slow dribbles. It has not been the same story. Things have shifted as Team Falcons look to be in free play.
Yeah, getting the reset off the ceiling. Falcons getting fancy with it. Obviously bringing the energy to the series. Seconds draining though, KRÜ. Offense has to do something, produce something late to the challenge, but good midfield presence by KRÜ to do something.
Oh, just pre-flip it out the way. That was the dribble, that was the opportunity. Had the chance, unfortunately blew it, and now you've got 60 seconds. You're not gonna get many opportunities like that, and another miss.
KRÜ having those placement, those accuracy issues, it's coming to bite them. The nightmare's coming back, 45 seconds. Do KRÜ force the game 7? They fought so hard for so long. They can't give up now. Drops to Brads, and Trufino stepping it up to the left. KRÜ only down by 1.
I thought we were gonna see another disaster lemon. Look at this, it was a potential double tap from Brad, but he just left it, and I think O'Callaghan might have assumed there'd be more connection off the backboard, faster to get to the ball. But as it rolled out, the shot came out, and it's a bottom left slot for KRÜ within 1.
Trufino shaking the wrist like, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting warmed up.
But they don't have much time, Lemon.
Yeah, 30 seconds, you gotta peek. Trufino not able to get a good challenge there. Midfield kind of collides between both teams. Who's gonna get on top of this first? Challenge favors Falcons, but if KRÜ are not gonna let this slip in front of their net, it's all-out chaos of just trying to stop KRÜ from doing anything else. Brad can't get a touch on it. Trufino has to save this, but Turk puts it to the orange end, and KRÜ have to sail all the way across. Trufino keeps it up though. Brad with the pre-jump, but Falcons there first. Drops is still in the air. Turk to the left side, but there's 2 members of KRÜ there. Brad, he keeps it going. O'Callaghan buying all the space, hoping to drop it at any second. And KRÜ cannot force the game 7. Falcons take the series.